Chicago is one of the greatest cities in America to live in, but there are 10 things you need to know before you ever decide to move here. Here's the thing. People fall in love with the skyline, the lake, the food, the rent that's somehow half what you pay for in New York or Los Angeles, and almost all that is real. But some people show up missing a few key pieces of the picture. And the ones who settle in the happiest are the ones who simply knew what they were getting themselves into. I've lived in Chicago for 39 years, and I've spent the last 5 years helping people relocate here for a living. So I'm not going to sell you on a postcard, and I'm not going to scare you off either, promise. I'm just going to give you the honest version. So in this video, I'm walking you through the top 10 things to know before you ever move to Chicago. The reality is people usually leave out. I'll cover the seasons everybody worries about and what it's actually like here, and the single biggest mistake newcomers make that has nothing to do with the weather at all. Let's start with the one everybody thinks they understand and almost nobody does. Everybody moving here braces for one thing, and that's the cold. And yes, absolutely a factor, but the part nobody tells you is how unpredictable it really is here. So here's the truth, most people don't expect moving here. No two Chicago winters are the same. Some years it's genuinely brutal. The polar vortex rolls in, the wind chill drops below 20, and the whole city hibernates for a week. Oh, it's awful. And the next year, it's surprisingly mild. A few light snows, a couple of cold snaps, and you're outside in a light jacket in February wondering, what was the fuss about here? You see, the thing is, you never know which one you're getting until it shows up though. I spent years working for a major cable company here, which meant I was out in it every single day. In every kind of weather, this city will throw at you. And even I couldn't tell you in November what kind of winter we had coming. What actually catches people off guard isn't really the cold itself, it's the length. The season runs from about November into March. So it's less about any single brutal day and more about pacing yourself through that kind of gray stretch we experience. And you know the crazy thing though? A lot of people relocating here actually like the change of seasons, and the winter doesn't seem to bug them at all. It still kind of fascinates me. Here are the 3 things to know. 1, buy for the wind, not just the temperature, which means a real, properly rated winter coat. I have made this mistake many times, and I grew up here. 2, take vitamin D if you're inside a lot like I am, because honestly, the shorter daylight affects people more than the cold does. 3, this is the one most people kind of skip. Keep something on the calendar to look forward to in January and in February, a reason to actually get out of your home. The people who love winter here aren't always tougher than anybody else. They just stay active instead of hibernating. And whatever the temperature's doing, there's one thing that makes Chicago feel colder than the number on the thermometer ever suggest, and that's the wind chill. They call it the Windy City, and most people assume that's politics or some marketing line. No, it's true. Then they walk 1 block downtown in January and understand instantly, oh, it's windy. Picture standing on a corner where the buildings funnel a gust straight off the lake. It doesn't blow at you much as it goes right through you, especially when it's super cold. It goes right past your coat, past the layers, the kind of cold that makes you laugh out loud of how cold you really are. See, the air temperature might say 20 degrees, but the wind chill makes it feel like 5 or less. It's exactly why locals will walk a block out of their way to duck behind a building. And once you learn to read it, it's kind of manageable. You just have to know that it's coming. Now, you can't stop the wind, right? But you can stop letting it ambush you. You see, I just came back from California, and even I underestimated the wind there. It was 70 to 75 degrees all day, but that consistent wind made it feel so much colder than the temperature set on my phone. So I actually had to wear a hoodie, a lot more than I expected. So here, make sure you wear a scarf, a hat, a hoodie, a coat, anything with you just in case it gets a little bit colder than you want it to be. Now, getting to the weather, kind of an easy part. There's an unwritten winter rule here that newcomers break without even realizing it. And the locals, they take it kind of seriously here. But before we dive into it, if you're thinking of relocating to Chicago or the suburbs, that's what I do every single day. So reach out here or sign up for my weekly newsletter right here. Here's the one thing that catches every newcomer off guard, and it's not in a single reload guide. Here's the scene. It snowed a foot. You spent 45 minutes shoveling a car out of a street spot. Real backbreaking work with a shovel. Ugh. You drive to the store, you come back, and someone took your spot. Someone literally took the spot you to shovel for 45 minutes. And in Chicago, it's not just bad luck. In a lot of neighborhoods, that's breaking the unwritten code. So locals invented dibs. You dig out your spot and you mark it with whatever you've got. A lawn chair, an old kitchen table, a couple of milk crates. That junk means I put in the work here, leave it alone. The city officially discourages that, but the neighborhoods do it anyway. every single winter. So here's how you don't become the villain of your own block. Not a good idea. Simple rule: if you didn't shovel it, don't park in it, regardless of what the law technically says you can do. When you shovel a spot, go ahead and mark it and put your stuff there and put your stuff back once it thaws. Because leaving it out for weeks, well, that's kind of rude. And honestly, the cleanest move is to get to know your neighborhood before the winter. So none of this is ever tense in the first place. Make sure you know your neighbors. Now, dibs is really just a test of one of the Chicago values: respect the work other people put in. Now, parking is a quirk you'll learn to love. The next one's a number you'll want to know before you sign anything. I can't tell you how many times I'm on Facebook and I see somehow a new tax passed that will generate millions for the city, yet it's piss broke, we're told. Who's spending all our money, by the way? I'm just saying. You see, you buy something for $100 and you'll watch the register add over $10 in sales tax, one of the highest combined rates of any big city in the country. Now, property taxes, they run high too, which is something every homeowner here factors into the math. There's a tax on parking, a tax on streaming. After a while, the running joke is they're going to find a way to tax it if you let them. None of it's really a deal breaker for most people. You just want to see the real numbers before you commit, not after. Now, so you don't get blindsided, you budget for the real Chicago, because taxes are a real thing here. When you do the math on moving here, take a look around and mentally add a cushion for taxes layered into everything you buy, you do. Homes, groceries, you name it. If you're thinking about buying a place, look up the actual property tax bill on that specific address before you fall in love with it. It can be a deal breaker if it's really high. And way whether living just a county or so over, further out makes more sense for you. Because plenty of people actually work in the city and very deliberately sleep somewhere else where the smaller taxes hit. But here's a mistake that costs people more than any tax bill. It's thinking they're moving to Chicago is one place. It's really not. This is the single biggest mental shift you'll have to make. And the people who never make it never really felt at home here. You see, Chicago isn't one city. It's more like 77 small towns that happen to share a flag. The vibes, the rent, the food, the whole feel of life changes completely from one neighborhood to the next. Sometimes in just a few blocks. You see, Lincoln Park feels like a different planet than Pilsen, which feels nothing like Rogers Park, which then again feels nothing like Beverly. You see, people here don't say, I live in Chicago. They say, I live in Logan Square, or I live in Hyde Park. And that one word, or two words, tells another local a lot about where they live. Now, the flip side of that is all these neighborhoods are really next to each other, so you can navigate them seamlessly. But before you buy anything, do the homework most people kind of skip. Don't just pick the home, pick a neighborhood first, and then find the home inside of that. Spend a full day in each one of these you're considering, town-wise, not house-wise, that'd be weird, on a weekday and a weekend, because they're different animals at different times. Walk them, eat them, drive them, feel them out. If you plan to ride the train from where you plan on living to where you actually work. The right neighborhood makes Chicago feel like the best decision you've ever made. Now, the wrong one makes the whole city feel kind of cold, and it has nothing to do with the weather. And choosing a neighborhood well means having an honest take on the thing everyone asks you about first. So let's talk about that one. Let's deal with the reputation head on, because you've heard it, your family's heard it, and it deserves an honest answer. Here's a truth that doesn't seem to show up on the news. Chicago is enormous, and the Chicago in the headlines and the Chicago that millions of people live in safely every single day somehow seem to be different Chicagos. So you see, crime here does exist, just like any big city. It's a situation by situation reality, not a fog that hangs over the whole city. You see, there's huge swaths of it that are safe as anywhere else in America. But you can't move here wide-eyed open either. The mistake of being in Chicago is being naive in a big city, leaving your phone on a table unattended, walking around somewhere randomly lost at 3 a.m., just staring at your phone. If you don't have a phone, maybe just looking at the ground, treating it like it's a small town, but it's not. So the goal isn't fear here. The goal is awareness. Learn your specific area. Talk to people who actually live there, not a relative 2 states over repeating what they saw in the news because we had enough of that. You see, keep normal big city habits. Stay aware, don't flash your money or valuables, know which stretches feel right to you late at night and which don't, and build a real community where you live. Because the single best, safest system in the city is knowing your neighbors, knowing your neighbors and having them know you. Now respect the city. Just don't fear it. Okay, the next thing up is one you're going to use every day, and that's getting around. Chicago has one of the genuinely greatest public transport systems in the country, and it'll quickly become part of your daily life. Quirky and all. The elevated train, can get you almost anywhere, often faster than driving, depending on the time of day. And there's honestly nothing like rattling around in a streetcar, watching the city roll by. It's an older system though, and it has its moods. And some days, you probably want to drive instead. The Kennedy and the Dan Ryan at rush hour will remind you maybe you should have taken the train in the first place. The trick is just knowing where you are and knowing where you're going. You'll never be surprised. So you stop fighting the system and start getting used to it here. Pick a neighborhood near a train line you're actually going to use. Being close to a good L stop is worth more than an extra bedroom for some people. Use the transit tracker apps. You're timing your trips correctly, not just gambling while sitting on a platform. And know that for a lot of city living, you may not need a car at all, which saves you money on taxes because you're going to need it, and insurance. And the DIB situation won't even be a problem for you. So maybe L is just how you live. Now, getting around is logistics. This next one is pure identity, and you're going to be asked to pick a side, whether you like it or not. This one's lighter, but make no mistake, it's real, and it'll come up faster than you expect. Within about a week of meeting anyone here, you're going to get the question that quietly sets the social standing. That's Cubs or Sox, North Side or South Side. And there's no neutral answer. I like both. Doesn't fly. The city wears its sports loyalty like a birthright. You'll see it. And the Bears fans in particular have a bond forged through years and years of heartbreak. You're going to watch grown adults genuinely get wrecked over a rough season, and they show up loyal the next year. It's not silly, just who we are. And I'm not telling you we're happy about them moving to Indiana either. That seems silly to me. So you might as well lean in, because this is how you actually get adopted by the people in the city. Pick a team. Honestly, just pick one you think you like. The geography of where you live usually makes it easier. And then commit to it. Go to a game, even a bad one. There's a lot of those. And then go to the bar afterwards. It's where the real bonding happens. You see, sports here isn't always about sports. It's just about getting to know people. But all this loyalty and grit and shoveling, it's all in service of one thing, the reward here. And the reward only lasts about 3 months. Here's the part that everyone else thinks is worth it, and the part that you're probably going to get yourself ready for. After the winter, Chicago summer hits like a reward you totally weren't sure you earned yet. The lakefront fills up, every neighborhood throws a street festival, it feels like, the patios spill over, the beaches are packed, and there's a free outdoor something happening basically every weekend here. The whole city knows the warm months, well, they're limited, so everyone packs a year's worth of fun into a few months. It's wonderful. It's a little chaotic in the best way most of the time. And yeah, some humid August afternoons. It goes from paradise to this air kind of feels soupy, and then back again. But it's worth every second, I promise. So the move is to ride the wave instead of drowning in it. Make a summer bucket list in April, so you don't blink and miss all of summer. The festivals, the beach days, the rooftops you keep meaning to try. Say yes to more than you feel comfortable with, because you're banking warm months for the dark ones that do come around. And pace yourself on the truly brutal humid days. They suck. Even paradise needs a little bit of air conditioning. Trust me. Now, the Chicago summer is short on purpose. The brevity is kind of what makes it feel sacred when it happens. Which brings us to the last point, the quiet one. It has nothing to do with weather, money, or trains, and it's worth thinking about. And honestly, before you commit, you probably should think about this one. Now, if any of this has you thinking about the Chicago market, where to buy, what areas to watch, what to avoid, it's exactly what I'm here for. Reach out anytime right here, or scan my QR code on screen right here for my weekly newsletter. I break down the market every week, cover local spots worth knowing about, and I keep you up to date on everything happening in Chicago and the suburbs. Now, this one is the one nobody really warns you about because it's subtle. It just depends a lot on the kind of person that you are. Chicago sits in the middle of a big, flat part of the country. There's no mountains on the horizon here, no ocean on the other side of town. That'd be nice. No quick weekend drive to dramatically different scenery like you're in Utah. So to get somewhere that feels totally different, you're usually looking at a longer drive or a flight. Now, for a lot of people, that's no issue at all. The city itself is deep enough that it doesn't bother them. But for some, especially folks who grew up near mountains or the coast, there can be a flat horizon feeling that they're just not used to. It's not a bad thing all the time. It's just worth knowing, are you into that, or do you like this view? I'm not used to it. So make sure you plan trips elsewhere if that's what you want, and making sure it's not a reason for you to pack up and leave Chicago entirely. And be honest with yourself about what you really want out of a city. That matters more for some people than any winter ever will. If you do, just build a rhythm of getting out. The Indiana dunes, the lake towns, a flight budget every year, and lean into the things Chicago does better than almost anywhere else. Go deep on the neighborhoods, the food, the music, the people, the culture, and embrace it. Here's the thing, knowing what to expect is really only half the battle here. The people who settle in happiest here are the one that nail in one decision early. Which neighborhood fits them for a life they actually want? And you get that right, and everything else seems to just be easier. But if the city isn't for you, then watch this next video where I talk about the 5 suburbs that are exploding in growth this year. And I'll see you there.